Welcome to the Socialize Strategy. Happy Friday. It's May 31st, 2024, and it's time to talk about the hot topic that we get asked so many times, and that is what time to post to go viral. So before I jump in, I want to talk about our sponsor for this week, which is Plannable, and they've sponsored us multiple times, and there's a reason for that. It is specifically for content creators. It's a great tool for content creators, especially if you're working with a team, if you have a small business and you have others working with you. It's really helpful to have a nice collaboration tool. So take a look at it, even if it's just you're shopping around and you want to get to know what the options are. It's a nice one to know about. As always, if you just popped into this podcast, we do have a newsletter that matches it. So feel free to get on our email list so that you get all the links that you need. All right, let's jump into the topic. And it's such a tough one because it really is very dependent on how you feel and what kind of feedback you need instantaneously when it comes to what time to post. So the question is, what is the best time to post to go viral? And honestly, if we had $1 for every time we were asked this question, I have to laugh because I'm like people. Do you understand that virality is so dependent on so many factors? And it's also sometimes not dependent on anything. It's just sometimes random. So there's no guarantee of going viral. I mean, I wish there was because trust me, I would be viral every single time. And as soon as somebody shared what it was to make it happen, they would also be viral every single time. So let's just start with the fact that there really is no magic time. But I want to say at the same time, there might be a magic time for you, for your core, where you feel this is the good time to post. I know most of my followers are watching their phones at this point. Whatever that is. So because of all the factors and how you feel about when you post and how quickly you want to see feedback, I always say this when I post a video, if it's let's say I'm up very late one night and I post one at 2 in the morning, likely and not a lot of people that are my followers, let's say on the East Coast or even on the West Coast, sometimes 2 in the morning is pretty late even for those people. I stay up very late, but I'm not going to get necessarily immediate views. However, the phones are sitting on people's nightstands, kitchen, chargers, whatever. And in the morning when they wake up and they do their scroll, my video will probably be there waiting. If it's going to be in their For You page, if the algorithm is sending it to them, it's going to be there whenever they pick up their phone. So I don't always necessarily vie for immediate gratification and staring at it like a slot machine as if you're watching the numbers go up when you get views. I just really sometimes I just post and I'm like, all right, I'm done for a while. I put the phone down and I go away from it just because I'm tired of being on it. Or I'll post and I'll look for a little bit, answer the first few comments, and then put my phone down. But if I needed immediate gratification, I might seek a time where more people are online so that it's more likely that it would be seen. So that brings me to look at your analytics. And I am not the person that does look at my analytics. I hate to admit it because you would think someone of my type of following or type of background, even just being in production, would be more tuned into analytics. I really am more instinctual and I post on a more instinctual cadence. But so if you are interested in your analytics, take a look, see when your audience is most active throughout the day. It's helpful for you because then you'll get that immediate gratification of people seeing it right away, engaging with it, and therefore pushing it further and further and further. So it's helpful to see because you can look in your analytics at your audience and see when the little timeline thingy, whatever the graph, it goes up when they're online and it goes down when they're not. So you can look at your analytics and you can learn a lot from that. Okay. The next thing is to understand your audience and when people scroll. So think about, and we're also going to go into like maybe the majority. We're presuming that some people wake up in the morning, the first thing they might do is scroll for a bit, or laying in bed at night, they might scroll. There might be a natural cadence to someone's life, but you know what? People live very different lives all around the world. So we don't know at what time they're doing it, what time they're waking up. We also don't know if they're in a job where they're busy during the day and they can't scroll because some people work at night. And that's when you think, oh, most people are going to scroll at night, but a handful of people are going to be working in those hours. So it's really, really hard to know. So timing your post to the natural cadence of how you think people are going to interact with social media might maximize your chances for getting more views immediately. But I tend to think, and this is always my theory, that the videos that are going to be fed to your audience in whatever order are going to be fed to them anyway. And so whenever they pick up their phone, that's when they're going to see the videos. So that's why sometimes, especially recently, I've noticed very delayed viewing. So I'll go to sleep at night and I have 500 views on a video and I put the phone down and I wake up and I think, oh, well, everybody was sleeping. I wake up and then suddenly I have a viral video in the morning. It's really weird. So there's no way to predict it. And I think the thing is getting out of your own head about it or deciding how you're going to move forward and accept it is more of an approach rather than trying to overanalyze and figure out how you're going to go viral. So think about it. What makes you feel good? When do you see in your own videos that you get more views when you first post? And does that make you feel good? Do you want that to happen? Okay, then consider that maybe your special time. If you like to look and watch your views, post earlier in the evening so you have time to watch and see how it progresses. If you're not really that interested, post later in the night, put the phone down, go to sleep, and wake up in the morning and see how it did. It's really about your own personal gratification and how quickly you want that type of feedback. Another really, really helpful tip, and this is, I will say it doesn't work 100% of the time, but I've noticed on certain videos when I post and then I go live, I notice the engagement tends to be quicker. And that's because it's a fact. I see when other people are live, I suddenly am scrolling, you'll see them on the For You page, especially on TikTok, and they're live. And then a few scrolls later, you see one of their videos pop up. So I'm sure it's the same thing on Instagram. When you're going on live on Instagram, I'm sure the platform is feeding out your videos to people. So that's a really good strategy if you have time to go live, if you like to go live. It's a really good way to engage with your audience anyway and get yourself back into the algorithm to their feed by being there. And then if they're on your live, the algorithm will then start feeding them your videos. It's a fact. It works. So try that. And then the other thing is to really experiment with your own content. So I have one point I wanted to look back and see because I had a video go crazy viral, like 7 million views. And I was like, when did I post that? So I tried to go back and remember, did I post it late that night? Was it earlier in the day? And just try and think about it in terms of, well, maybe if I post a video around that same time about that same type of topic, maybe I'd have a better shot at going viral again. Do I think that that would work? It's really no, so that I don't bother doing it. But if you have time and you want to do it, go for it. Go back and see when was a really high performing video and what time of day was it posted? What day was it posted? And see if you can learn from your own content. I tend to always think, well, people are more likely to scroll during the weekend. They might have more time. Hey, not everybody has the weekends off. A lot of people work on the weekend, depending on what type of industry you're in. If you're in a service industry, photographers, high-end photographers, they work on the weekends. They're doing things with clients on the weekends. So there's really no way to know. And in our experience, I'll notice that a video has been posted and reposted at the same video. I'll post it and then I'll say, you know what? I wish I didn't post this now. I should have waited till the weekend. Very rarely do I do this, by the way, but I know Julie does this more than me. She'll private it and then try it again at another time. And I welcome you to experiment doing that. I probably should do more of that myself. As a matter of fact, I might just go back and see if any videos that I posted recently had low views, and maybe I will just post them again over the weekend and see what happens, because I spend a lot of time teaching a lesson and I think it's going to be really helpful to people, and then it gets a handful of views, maybe a couple of hundred views, even a couple of thousand is not a lot for an audience that I have. So I probably should repost those videos, because then I'll have somebody coming up a month later and saying, oh, could you teach how to link a video in your caption? And I'm like, yes, I did post that already. And it was very recent, but it didn't get pushed out. So nobody saw it. And it was a good lesson. So it really is one of those things that if you feel comfortable reposting your videos and you don't mind having it seen again in your feed, post it again, give it another shot. I mean, I had a friend who posted a video something like 6 times, and on the 6th try, she went viral with it. I would never even have the wherewithal to keep going with it, keep posting the same thing over and over again, but it worked. It worked for her. So something to think about. And just understand that timing is not the only factor. So there's a lot of pressure about time in your own head, but sometimes the ingredients for a successful video are more important than what time you posted it. And it just might be the topic that hit, or the way it resonated with a certain audience, or something was so relatable and that something just takes off. It is mind-boggling sometimes to think about the videos that take off and why. And there's no rhyme or reason to it. We will make ourselves crazy trying to figure it out. So instead of spending so much time and energy making yourself crazy, just post another video. Just keep on moving and one of them will hit. You just got to have that feeling of, I'm just going to keep doing this because I enjoy doing it. And then that's when you're more likely to have something hit. So those are the thoughts on timing. And I just think you really need to think about your own phone. Take it to yourself and say, okay, when do I scroll? When do I put my phone down? When I pick up my phone, isn't that same video there waiting for me from last time when I put my phone down? Yes. So probably the algorithm was going to feed me whatever those videos were of the people that I follow. It's coming to me anyway, no matter when they posted it. Do you even bother to notice when someone posts what time someone else posted a video? If you're quote, I know a lot of people are like early when they come into the comments and they get to a viral video on the early side. But for the most part, I don't think we as viewers pay attention to how long a video has been sitting there when we watch it. I don't think we do. At least I don't. And I would love to know if you do. So hit me in the comments, either drop a comment in the YouTube link if you're watching this on YouTube, respond to the newsletter if you want, whatever. Just get back to me and let me know if you think that your videos, it matters with timing, or what have you learned? I would love to hear what other people have learned. So that brings me to a couple of tips I'm going to share at the end of this episode that were not in the newsletter. Sometimes I like to go on a roll and share things that go way beyond the newsletter because it's something I learned and I don't necessarily want to post a video about it. And I'll tell you why on this first one. So if you're listening to this podcast, bonus tip, I had the idea the other day that I happened to see a video reply to a comment, and it had, when someone replies to a comment with a video, so you see a little comment bubble up at the top. You can reply to a comment on your own video, or you can reply to a comment on someone else's video. So let's think about this. There's a video that's viral, then somebody comments on it. Then you might say, oh my gosh, I have an answer to this comment. I'm going to make a video. So it's someone else's viral video. You're replying to the comment. I would be curious to know if that boosts your opportunity for engagement, for virality potentially, because you're hopping on the tail of someone else's viral video, and then you're creating content that's going to now be in their comment section. Picture it. Because this is kind of genius. I don't know where this came from, but boing, it came into my head. And I'm like, I got to try it myself. So comment on a viral video. You have an idea. You're going to make a video. So you hit reply with video to the comment on that person's video. And then when people are scrolling that viral video, and when you see a few comments have videos in it, a lot of times you presume that the creator did a video reply to some of the comments. And one of the video replies might be your comment, your video. So you could potentially get the eyes of a viral video onto your content. I don't know. I think I'm onto something with this one. And I would love for a bold person who has an idea. It has to be a good video reply. So don't just throw something random up. But if you see a comment on a viral video and you have an idea, make a video and see if your video gets more views because you're in that viral video comment section. Eureka. I might have to do it myself. I'm going to think about that. I'm going to be scrolling the comments on viral videos now and seeing if anything in the comments warrant my expertise. And I'm going to give it a shot. So let me know if you're going to do that too. Here's something else I noticed this week. And this is like now just a fun sharing section of my life, because of my social media life at the moment. But I have noticed for some reason that I have very young kids watching my lessons. I could almost cry talking about it. When I say 7-year-olds, 5-year-olds, that age, there are hundreds of videos that I found by accident where it says, okay, here's what the comment, my notification says, so-and-so used a sound inspired by your video. That's what the notification says, I believe. I could probably read it and find one, but it says something like that. I'll scroll while I'm talking. But that's the kind of thing it says. And then when I click on the video, it's a small child. I'm just really determined to find one right now. Sorry, you're going to have to bear with me. Let me see if I saved one. Did I save one? Hoo-ha, come on. Let's go. Posts. Okay, here's the one with a little boy. Okay. So, for example, the disappearing trend, 5-year-olds doing the trend from my lesson because they're using the sound from my video, which means that they watched my video to get to do their lesson. And I say to you, like, you think that you're impacting a certain, I think mostly older people are listening, watching my content because I teach in a slower pace so they can learn. Guess what? I have little kids watching my videos, learning how to do TikTok. They're little kids and they're doing the disappearing trend. One of them did the jumping trend where she was jumping and you could hear my voice teaching the lesson. And she was recording her thing using the sound instead of using the sound from the trend. She used the sound from my tutorial. Oh my God, I could cry talking about it. It is heartwarming because there's hundreds of little kids around the world in different countries. I don't know. This one almost looked like some of them, I think, look like Indonesia or the Philippines or something like that. And there's these kids, and you can hear my voice saying, first you pick this and then you pick that. It's literally my tutorial audio. And the child is doing the trend. Okay. Helen's not well. I was like emotional because I realized that I'm having an impact on people that I don't even know what's happening. And it's such a good feeling. And that's why I think social media is so important because I would never have been able to reach these children to teach them how to do video content. And they have learned from my videos. Come on. If that's not heartwarming, I don't know what else I can do for you. I do have workshops that we did recently with expert creators, and I'm definitely trying to roll in experts into the mix. So my next expert, I'm excited to announce, I don't have a date yet, but she has agreed to do it, is the woman, my conquering Tammy Nelson, who makes these rings, which are fidget spinner rings. They spin and these parts come off so you can click them and it's like little fidget rings. And she has blown up on TikTok. She's been selling rings like crazy. She's been helping people around the world. She's the most kind soul, and she managed to figure out how to start a business and be successful on social media while working full time. She's amazing. So come and listen to that workshop as soon as I announce the date. She has agreed to come on for a live workshop, which will then become a podcast. And with that, I leave you. So have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy. I hope the weather cooperates. I think it's going to be hot. I have another wedding to attend this weekend for my son's friend. So I'll be dancing again, yet again. I like to spend my weekends dancing. Thank you for spending your Friday with me. And thank you for listening to my ramble. And let me know if you're going to try to reply to a comment on a viral video. I'm not going to make a TikTok about it because I don't want too many people to do it. I want to do an experiment with a handful. So you are my handful. You listeners are my handful. If you happen to land here just via a podcast platform, don't forget to subscribe to the newsletter. HelloSocialize.com is where you'll find all the goodies, the lessons, the tutorials, the classes, the workshops. You can find a link to this podcast. You can find content tools. I just recorded a video about my microphones. So my content tools are all there. And you're welcome to all of it. All of it. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week. Bye. Don't forget to leave a review. I'm always supposed to say that and I always forget. Leave a review because it helps the podcast get seen by more people. Okay, thank you. Mwah.